In this video, we're going to be covering how to create a database in AWS RDS using both the UI and the command line. We're going to start with the user interface. So if you go to the AWS services and type in RDS, we have currently 0 databases. So we're going to go there. We're going to say create database. What we are going to be selecting from is like this list, and I'm going to be selecting MySQL database, and the default version, which is the latest one, is good. I'm going to go with the free tier. uh, it's going to ask you about the availability and durability, and you do not have to tell that. If you are using the free tier, the option becomes enabled if you select dev or production. So we're gonna stick to the free tier here. Database name is gonna be the demo database test. uh, Admin is good, or we can have the username as admin is good, or basically we can have a username. Okay, manage master credentials in AWS secrets manager. uh, we are not gonna select that because basically it says that it's gonna remove all the password and everything, just because you're gonna be putting the username password in the AWS secret. Okay, I'm gonna select password here, which is gonna be just a password. Okay, nice. Once you have that, we're gonna select with this one, which is gonna be included in the free tier, which is the db.t3 micro. It comes with 2 CPUs, 1 GB of RAM, and this much network bandwidth. We're gonna have the default general purpose SSD, and 20 GB of storage is more than enough for us. Again, in terms of the connectivity, we're gonna stick with the default VPC. You cannot create a database without a VPC anymore. It has to be part of the VPC. And we're gonna be just sticking with the default VPC. If you wanna know, actually we're gonna stick to this one. Otherwise, if you go to the VPC services here, you can look into your how the VPC looks like, and in some other video we're gonna cover that too. Okay, yep. So after the database is created, you can't change its VPC. Again, the DB subnet group is gonna be the default one. Public access is gonna be no or yes, depending on do you want to get access to this database using command line on your local computer or not. So the no is going to be the yes is going to be the answer. RDS assigns a public IP address to the database EC2 instance, and other resources outside of the VPC can connect to your database. Resources inside the VPC can also connect to the database. So if you don't want to create like any credentials on the EC2 instances or VPN through the EC2 instance, uh, and just reach out to this database using your command line, MySQL command, you're gonna set yes to it. VPC firewall, choose existing, default is good. It's gonna make sure it has to be, you have to select one of the availability zone. No preference is gonna work too, yeah. Okay, create an RDS proxy. This is like if you want to have Basically, if a Lambda is trying to hit this RDS through the proxy, you have to set that up. Um, Basically, we can read into it, but basically uh, it's good for the scalability, and if a lot of connections are being made, and if you have a bigger system, a proxy is going to help in a way that it's going to keep the connection live for some time, and that's how the RDS proxy is going to be more scalable. Okay, we're going to opt out of that for now. Certificate authority is going to be the default. Password authentication is good. You can have a password authentication and the IAM database authentication if you wanna connect to it using IAM database authentication too. Again, you need to go to the IAM, create the security rules that your IAM role can access the database. Monitoring, enable enhanced monitoring. We don't want to do that. Okay, estimated monthly cost is going to be this much, which is the database is going to be this, storage is this. The billing estimate is based on demand usage. Estimate does not include cost for backup, iOS, and transfer. Okay. Okay, the Amazon RDS free tier is available to you for 12 months. You may or may not see this message depending on if you are using the free tier or not. Each calendar month, the free tier will allow you to use the Amazon RDS resources listed below for free, which is gonna, but just remember, if we start creating more than one database, or uh, like if we use out of, it's not gonna restrain you from not select, like, so you can actually select the production one and end up paying a lot. Just to show you, if you do select production one, it would cost you almost $2,000. So just be careful uh, on your selections. So looks good. 20 GB of this one, and 20 GB of automated backup storage. So that's how you're going to be creating the database. Hopefully it is not going to complain about anything. It is creating. Okay, suggested add-ons for demo database test. You can use an RDS proxy or Elastic Cache cluster for the RDS using this one. Okay, nice. So it is creating. That's how you would do it. It's gonna become part of some VPC. This is the default VPC we have, and this is gonna. That's how you're gonna be creating it. In order to delete it using the user interface, you're gonna come here, come to the actions, and say delete. Proceeding with caution, sure. To about example the written consent, I'm gonna say yes. Maybe not. Maybe I have to delete by giving the name of the database. We don't want to retain the automated backups. I acknowledge, yes. Type delete me. I'm so sorry. I didn't read that. So over here it says type delete me into the field. Delete me. We do not want to have any backups for that. And now it's gonna say it is deleting. Moving back to our command line. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna be doing is that basically I'm gonna go backwards. I'm gonna start with the command we're gonna end up using to create the database, and we're gonna run into some errors, and we're gonna fix the errors, uh, and that's how we would move forward. So the command in order to create the database is AWS RDS. Again, wherever you get stuck, you can look into help, go here. We're looking for something create. So create database instance is going to be the one which we're going to be selecting. So again, AWS RDS create database instance. Okay, so the first thing needs to happen is we need to give it an identifier. That would be db instance identifier. We're gonna call it demo database. And other thing we need to do is to tell him the class. So that would be db instance class, which would be db.t3.micro, the same one we used in the UI. Okay, and then the engine. That would be our MySQL. Okay, then the master username. We're gonna just name it username, and the password, master user password. Okay, that's gonna be password for now. Okay, then we have allocated storage. We're gonna, so the number is gonna represent something in GB. We're gonna say 20 GB, and then we need to have a, like a subnet group name. So we're gonna say db subnet group name. So as I don't know it, I'm just gonna skip it, ABC, and then we're gonna say VPC security groups IDs. That's gonna be, again, don't know it, so I'm gonna call it EFG, and then of course the profile. The profile I'm gonna be using is board 2024, which is linked to my this AWS account. Okay, so once I hit that, unknown options, VPC security groups IDs, didn't like that, so it is group IDs. So it said that the DB subnet group, again, of course, these are the placeholders, so we even look without looking at the database, we know that we need to come up with the group username, the subnet group name, sorry, the subnet group name, and the VPC security groups IDs. Okay, so first we're gonna be looking into how we can actually get the security groups. So again, I haven't created anything on this account, so I'm gonna say AWS EC2 describe security groups with my profile. Okay, so it did give me the security groups, and if we look at the group ID, that so that group ID, I'm gonna save that. So I'm just gonna copy that and paste it. Okay, so I saved that, and that's what we're gonna need for the group IDs. So basically, we're gonna be using the default VPC So we already have the security. The other one is the subnet group name, right? Sorry. So for the subnet group name, so what you can do is first of all see what you have. So for that you're gonna have an AWS RDS describe DB subnet groups, and then the profile name. Okay, so we have some groups here, right? Okay, and these are the different subnets. So first of all I'm gonna save these. This is like the subnet identifiers, so I'm gonna save that, save this one, and save that. Okay, so I saved all the subnet, this one. The reason is that I'm gonna be creating a new like a DB subnet group for that. So for that the command is AWS RDS create DB subnet group. So in order to do that, you're gonna need few things here. First of all, you're gonna need the name of the group you're trying to create, which we're gonna be using in the create DB instance. So that would be DB subnet um, group name. We're gonna call it demo subnet group. Okay, the next one is DB. So now we need some description for that. So very similar, DB subnet group description. We are gonna say that demo subnet group description. Okay, now we need two more things. Again, one is uh, the 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 subnets which we just saved. There were three subnets, so for that we're gonna have subnet. Basically we are saying that this group is gonna have access to all three subnets we have. So subnet IDs, I'm gonna copy paste for those three subnets. That's the one. This is the second one, and the last one is here. Okay, and the last thing is we're gonna tell the profile. Our profile is bold 2024. Okay, we ended up creating this successfully. This is the one which we're going to be using. So again, going back to what the command we used to create that uh, the instance. So now we have that subnet name. So we are going to use that, which is demo subnet group, and the security group IDs is the one which we saved when we did the when we describe the EC2 describe security groups. And that would create the database. So we named our database as demo database. We're gonna go back to this one, refresh the page, and find out that we have a new database which is getting created. If you go inside that, it is still getting created, so we're not going to see any endpoint or anything like that. But that's how we can do that's how we can create the database. Okay, the last thing I wanted to do is to delete this database, which would be the command for that is AWS RDS. Again, if you don't know, just use help. We know that it's gonna be something delete. So delete db, not the cluster. We're looking for the instance, so that's the one which we're gonna be using. You can use db rds delete delete db instance. Again, if you forget the next one, you can always use the help. Here it's going to tell you that the 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 parameter which is definitely required is this one, so I'm going to copy that. The name, that's going to be demo database, which we just created. The profile is this one. And one other thing, if you try to do that, it's gonna give you an error that uh, the final snapshot cannot be taken. So it's about the final snapshot. So what we are gonna be overriding it by saying that skip a final snapshot. Basically means that do not make uh, any snapshot of our database. Yep. And now if the status is back to deleting. If I go back here and refresh, it's gonna say it's deleted. And these are the things I wanted to cover in this video. Thank you very much for watching.